Justice delayed, again, in Miami Beach Pride attack. The attack after Miami Beach Pride happened in April 2018. 2 people were attacked by a bathroom after the annual Pride Parade in Miami Beach. 4 young men were arrested and charged. Since then, there's been a global pandemic, 2 presidential impeachments, an election, and an insurrection. What there hasn't been is a trial, and there won't be one until nearly Halloween. In this week's SFGN, online and on stands tomorrow, I look at the case and why it's taking so long for justice. 4 young men have delayed their day in court for more than 4 years and counting. Last week, the judge set a trial date for October 24th. We'll see if that happens. Over the years, there have been hundreds of motions, hearings, depositions, scheduling conflicts, and other glacially slow legal maneuvers. All this can work in the defendant's favor. Memories fade over time, and any change to someone's original story in the police report, now more than 4 years ago, could be damaged to damage their credibility. One of the victims wasn't deposed until 3 years after the attack. The victims in this case are forced to relive the event with every scheduled motion and hearing date. While a final verdict doesn't automatically bring peace to their hearts, a never-ending judicial process can prevent long-term healing from ever really being able to begin. As for the defendants, they were all 20 and 21 years old when this occurred. Now firmly in their mid-20s, they've spent the start of their young adulthood with this case hanging over their heads, complying with court orders, bail conditions, and asking permission to travel. There's a lot of healing that needs to happen. Healing in the community, healing for the victims, and for the defendants. The healing can't begin in earnest until people are held responsible for the attack. The defendant could decide to make a plea deal. Some charges have already been dismissed by prosecutors, and a plea deal could happen at any time. But as of today, it looks like October 24th is the most likely time for accountability, responsibility, and healing. And you can read more on this case in SFGN online and on stands tomorrow.
Those poor victims having to relive this for now, 4 years that they're going on this, right? I mean, and for the people that for the witnesses, I don't remember what the hell I did last week, boys. How am I supposed to remember what I did in 2018?
Yeah.
One of those witnesses was a Good Samaritan, a straight guy who saw them being beat up and intervened. He jumped in and he got beat up himself. I was at that Pride and I was a commissioner at that time, so I had the opportunity to bring the victims and the Good Samaritan and give him a hero medal from the city. Aww. But it's amazing that 4 years later and now, not until Halloween, we might finally see justice. I mean, what a trick or treat. This needs to move forward. We need to have accountability. And we need to move on with this case for all of their lives, the victims' lives, the witnesses' lives, everyone's lives.
Miami Beach Pride's lives. I mean, just in general, this just keeps on being like that stain.
Yeah. And while they haven't pled guilty, no one's made a plea of any, they've all entered not guilty pleas and they haven't made a plea deal. But late last year, earlier this year, they made a motion to have the case dismissed on stand your ground, saying that they were the ones being attacked and they had the right to stand there outside the bathroom. The judge dismissed it and basically laughed at them. But the fact is, that's basically a de facto admission that at least they were there. And they're the ones in the videotape, not legally. So, I mean, obviously, they're still defendants. They still get to have the right. But the fact that it's taken this long and they've tried to weasel out of it now means that it's really time for justice.
Yeah,
I really appreciate your framing of this, too, that is about all the great work you've done on this case and all the great work you do, but also just the focus here on healing, I think, is so important. Because, I mean, what it's done to the victims, what it's done, as you all noted, and for the community, healing is such a necessary step forward, and none of it's possible. So I really appreciate the framing that you've done here. Thank you.
It's a great story, and I can tell you on behalf of Miami Beach, our LGBTQ plus community has been very upset about this, and they're looking forward to these young men being brought to justice.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.